It's August 10th, 2015. And within the past few days, I came across some videos, some anti-masturbation videos on TEDx. And then there's also some anti-porn stuff on TEDx and TED. So I wanted to comment a little bit about that. And one of the guys who spoke was Gary Wilson. And another one is Jack Fischer. But anyway, if you do a Google search for TEDx, that's TEDx, and then the phrase NoFap, NOFAP. That's N as in November, O, F as in Foxtrot, A, P as in Papa. So, anyway, this NoFap stuff is basically a website that ties right into what I learned as a young boy in Mormonism. And it's the claim that masturbation basically hijacks your life and will make it so you can't date and might turn you into a homosexual. Although they don't really mention that in the NoFap. Maybe they do, but this NoFap bullshit. And I was really surprised to see this guy talking about NoFap. He said, "Oh, I'm a Christian and I still identify as a Christian." Well, Jesus is really concerned about what people do in their bedrooms, isn't he? At least according to Mormonism, and at least according to evangelical Christianity. Bunch of abusive bullshit. So, remember that Joycelyn Elders lady? Even though Bill Clinton was womanizing people and having oral sex in the Oval Office, having women suck him off, even though that was happening, he said, "Oh no, Joycelyn Elders, who advocates for masturbation, she's too much." Bill Clinton. I agree with Christopher Hitchens that Bill Clinton was basically a fucker. Yeah, it literally was a fucker. So, he was a fucker and a fucker. No One Left to Lie To. That's the relevant book by Christopher Hitchens. So, anyway, back to this NoFap business. It's basically a repackaged version of the abusive bullshit they teach you in Mormonism. With people like Mark Peterson and Boyd Packer with their little Packer's pamphlet that teaches kids that they have a little factory and you can't make your factory go too fast, otherwise you're going to have a problem. So, these people, Mormonism and Christian bullshitters, they complain about masturbation hijacking your brain. Well, they're the ones doing the fucking hijacking. They hijack people's brains and then they abuse them by saying that something which is completely natural and which should be never shamed for, masturbation, that is, almost never. The only time masturbation should be shamed for is if it's keeping you from going on a date. If it saps so much sexual energy that you can't really go on a date because you don't feel like being around a person of the opposite sex because all your sexual energy is drained away. Okay, I can agree with that. Maybe cut off a little bit to have your reserve going there so you got some interest in going on a date and being around other people and not just with yourself. I can agree. I can see there's value in that. But this business I mean, saw some people's, the fact that some people have videos about their no-fap struggle. Their struggle to keep from masturbating. Oh my goodness, it's such a noble cause to keep from masturbating. So noble. So, Joycelyn Elder's talk on masturbation, I fully agree with that. Masturbation, and humans have a bit of a taboo about mentioning the fact that sex exists at all. So I guess I'm breaking a little bit of that taboo by saying this. But masturbation basically helps you tie in to the method of creation, and helps you learn about the natural evolutionary process that made it all possible for us to be here. And so does sex with another person, but anyway, this no-fap business is basically a repackaging of the incredible, abusive, anti-masturbation bullshit that they tell you in Mormonism and in evangelical Christianity. Anti-masturbation, abusive bullshit, child abuse, adult abuse. It's just a repackaging of that. So I was surprised to see that TEDx, an independently organized TED event, TEDx, has these anti-masturbation bullshitters on there in the TED format, where you have here's a TED speaker to give you the great knowledge. The TED speaker is speaking, you must listen. I'm here to tell you about the newest and latest thing. Oh, and you're going to be so excited about that. Yeah, it's just a wonderful thing that we're learning about on the TED Talk. The abusive, repackaged bullshit about how you shouldn't masturbate. And they also talk about porn. Now, they say porn hijacks your brain. Well, there's a little bit of truth in that people who want to make money off selling other people's bodies, primarily women, that's bad, mostly. There is some value in this new thing called Porn 2.0, where people can organically create their own, share their own experiences of intimate activities. But all circling around that is still the Porn 1.0 bullshit. So that's kind of lame. If we could have a Porn 2.0 that's not surrounded by the bullshit porn and abusive Porn 1.0, then, things would be a lot better. So I agree that porn can be a problem and can, teach you kind of how sex really doesn't happen. It shows you the bits and pieces, but it doesn't really show you what sex is really like. I mean, in totality. The beauty of sex, the majesty of sex, doesn't show you that. It just shows you the kind of the childish, crass bullshit that let's just get money from showing you the latest whore. That's the Porn 1.0. Porn 2.0 is where real people show you what's really happens, So, anyway, maybe that's Porn 3.0. Porn 2.0 is kind of in between. So, anyway, I think that this Mormon and evangelical Christian concern about porn goes a little bit overboard, especially considering the fact that they're for example, the founders of Mormonism had 14 and 15-year-old wives and wives who were still legally married to other men. Who are they to, when you got founders of your church like that, what the fuck are you doing telling children what they should do in their bedrooms when they're coming of age? Or adults, Spencer Kimball, the past Mormon prophet, he said that you can't engage in oral sex. What the fuck is he doing micromanaging the sex lives of married couples when the founder of his fucking church had a 14-year-old wife and wives who were still legally married to other men? And evangelical Christians are really no better, the more vociferous an evangelical Christian is about a given issue, that means that they probably are that. So the more vociferous they are against gays means they probably are gay. So that's another example. So nofap, abusive, child abuse. Abusive, it's child abuse and adult abuse. This nofap repackaged anti-masturbation Christian/Mormon bullshit. And the fact that TED, via TEDx, allowed it to be put on their shitstream shows that they've been hijacked, and they're basically worthless. A bunch of rich snobs who don't know shit about things, claiming what they're saying should be listened to when it's really just a bunch of dumb shit rich snobs. So anyway, that's it. Have fun.